The human space station Orion Gate floated quietly at the edge of deep space. It was far from busy trade routes, far from war zones, and far from trouble. Most days were calm, slow, and boring. That calm ended when the scanners picked up something strange. A small object was drifting toward the station. It was not metal like a ship. It was not rock like space debris. It looked like a tiny glowing pod, broken and spinning slowly. The control room went silent. No one had seen anything like it before. Captain Reyes ordered a retrieval team to bring it inside. The pod was weak, losing power, and would not survive much longer in open space. Some crew members felt nervous. Others felt curious. When the pod was pulled into the airlock, the glow inside flickered like a dying light. Cracks spread across its surface. A soft sound came from inside, almost like a cry. The door opened carefully. Inside was the smallest living being any human had ever seen. The alien was no bigger than a human hand. Its body was thin and fragile. Its skin glowed faintly like warm starlight. Large eyes stared back at the humans, full of fear. It did not attack. It did not scream. It only curled into itself, shaking. The room changed in that moment. Fear turned into silence. Silence turned into something else. Sympathy. Some crew members whispered that it could be dangerous. Others said it was clearly hurt and helpless. The alien lifted its tiny hands slowly, as if asking not to be harmed. Before anyone could decide what to do, alarms blared across the station. Red lights flashed. The station computer spoke in a calm but serious voice. Multiple unknown ships detected. The screens filled with dark shapes. Large alien warships surrounded the station, blocking every escape path. A message came through immediately, cold, sharp, and without emotion. Human station. Return the asset you have taken. The humans froze. Asset not life. Object not being. Captain Reyes demanded answers. The alien fleet responded quickly. That creature is property. It escaped. It belongs to us. The tiny alien heard the voice. His body shook harder. It tried to hide behind a medical console. Its fear was clear. Even without words, the humans began to understand. This small alien was not lost. It was running away. The alien fleet powered their weapons. Energy readings spiked. One wrong move could destroy the station in seconds. The crew looked at the tiny alien again. So small, so weak, so clearly afraid. Dr. Lin knelt down slowly. She spoke softly. "We won't hurt you." The alien looked up, unsure, then slowly reached out and touched her finger. That single touch changed everything. Captain Reyes felt anger rise in his chest. Not fear, not doubt, anger. He asked the fleet a simple question. "What will you do with it?" The answer came without hesitation. "Study it, use it, dispose of it if needed." The word dispose echoed through the room. The captain muted the channel. The crew waited, hearts pounding. Handing the alien over would keep them safe. Protecting it could mean war. The tiny alien looked at them all, as if it knew a decision was being made about its life. Captain Reyes finally spoke, quietly, firmly. "We do not give living beings back to monsters." He opened the channel again and said the words that would change the galaxy forever. "The creature stays with us." Outside, weapons charged. Inside, the tiniest life in the universe was being protected by humans, and the galaxy was about to learn what that meant. The station felt smaller after the human captain made his choice. Outside, enemy ships waited like silent predators. Inside, the tiny alien sat wrapped in a soft cloth, still shaking. No one slept that night. The crew gathered in the medical bay, watching the tiny creature closely. Dr. Lin ran gentle scans, careful not to scare it. The results made her frown. "This being is starving," she said softly. "Not just from hunger, but from stress and fear." The tiny alien flinched every time a screen flashed or a sound echoed. Its heart rate spiked at the smallest noise. It had lived in terror for a long time. The humans slowly learned more. not through words but through reactions. When the alien heard sharp voices, it curled up. When someone raised their hand too fast, it hit its face. This was not a wild creature. This was a victim. Captain Reyes ordered all weapons powered down inside the station. No shouting, no sudden movements. The crew followed his command without question. Outside, the alien fleet sent another message. This time the tone was harsher. "You are interfering with galactic order," the voice said. "That species has no value." Captain Reyes responded calmly. "Then why hunt it?" The silence that followed felt heavy. The alien fleet did not answer the question. Dr. Lin noticed something strange during her scans. The tiny alien's brain reacted strongly to emotional signals. Fear, kindness, anger, sadness. Felt everything deeply. "This species feels emotions more strongly than any known race," she explained. "They are not weak. They are sensitive." The crew looked at the tiny alien differently now. Its small size no longer looked useless. It looked brave for surviving this long. Suddenly, the tiny alien stirred. Its eyes opened wide, glowing softly. It looked around the room, then slowly stood. It walked toward Captain Reyes, step by tiny step. The room went silent. The alien lifted its head and placed its small hand on the captain's chest. A wave of emotion flooded the room. Fear, sadness, hope, and trust all at once. Some crew members felt tears in their eyes. Others felt memories they had buried long ago. The alien was not speaking. It was sharing. Outside, something unexpected happened. One of the alien ships powered down its weapons. Then another. Confusion spread across the hostile fleet. The tiny alien's emotional signal was reaching beyond the station, touching minds that had never known empathy. The main fleet commander shouted orders, angry and afraid. "This is dangerous," the voice said. "Terminate the signal." But it was too late. The humans realized the truth. This tiny species was hunted not because it was weak, but because it was powerful in a way the galaxy feared. It could make others feel. The tiny alien collapsed from exhaustion. Dr. Lin caught it just in time. Its small body trembled as the emotional wave faded. Captain Reyes clenched his fists. Now he understood why the galaxy wanted this species controlled. Not as slaves, but as tools. The alien fleet issued a final warning. "Return the creature or be destroyed." Captain Reyes looked at his crew. No one spoke, but every face showed the same answer. The humans were not backing down. The captain turned back to the screen and said words that echoed far beyond the station. "This being is under human protection. If you attack it, you attack us." The enemy ships shifted position, weapons charging once more. Inside the station, humans stood between fear and innocence, and the smallest alien in the universe slept safely, unaware that it had already begun changing the galaxy. The moment Captain Reyes spoke his warning, the space outside the station changed. Alien ships moved closer, slow and careful, like hunters closing in. Their weapons glowed with quiet power. Inside the station, every human felt the weight of what was coming. They were no longer just protecting a small alien. They were challenging the will of the galaxy. The tiny alien slept in the medical bay, wrapped in warmth. Its breathing was soft and uneven. Dr. Lin stayed beside it, refusing to leave. She watched its chest rise and fall, and wondered how something so small could cause such fear among powerful species. In the command room, the crew prepared for the worst. Defense systems were activated. Escape routes were calculated, then erased. There was nowhere to run. Another message came from the alien fleet. This time the voice was not calm. It was angry. "You do not understand what you are protecting," the voice said. "That species must never be free." Captain Reyes stood tall, his hands behind his back. "Then explain," he replied. The alien commander hesitated, then spoke words filled with bitterness. "That species can break control. They awaken thoughts. They weaken obedience." The humans exchanged glances. This was no accident. This tiny alien was dangerous to empires built on fear. In the medical bay, the tiny alien stirred again. Its eyes opened slowly. It sensed the tension even in sleep. Dr. Lin placed a gentle hand near it. The alien reached out and touched her finger again. This time, the emotional wave was different. It was not fear. It was concern. The alien felt the danger humans were facing for its sake. And it did not want that. Suddenly, screens across the station flickered. The alien fleet reacted at once. "Stop the signal!" The commander shouted. The tiny alien sat up, weak but determined. It stood on unsteady legs and faced the window that showed the stars. Its small body glowed brighter than before. Inside the minds of humans, memories surfaced. Moments of choosing kindness when fear was easier. Moments of standing up when silence was safer. Outside the station, alien ships began to hesitate. Some crews felt emotions they had never felt before. Doubt, guilt, empathy. One smaller alien ship broke formation. Its captain spoke over open channels. "This is wrong," the voice said. The main fleet reacted instantly. Energy beams fired without warning. The smaller ship was destroyed in a flash of light. The humans watched in horror. The tiny alien screamed. A sound of pure pain. The emotional wave exploded outward. Stronger than before. Uncontrolled. Alien crews across the fleet dropped to their knees, overwhelmed by sorrow and shock. The truth hit them all at once. They were not guardians of order. They were executioners. The main commander panicked. "This is exactly why they must be erased," he shouted. Weapons locked onto the station. Power levels spiked beyond safe limits. Captain Reyes knew this was the breaking point. If he surrendered now, everything would be lost. If he fought, lives would be lost. He opened all communication channels, human and alien alike, and spoke clearly. "This small being feels what you have buried. It does not control you. It reminds you." The tiny alien collapsed again, drained completely. Dr. Lin caught it, tears falling freely now. The station shook as warning alarms sounded. Impact was seconds away. Then something unexpected happened. Several alien ships powered down at once. Their captains refused orders. Fear had lost its grip. The fleet fractured in silence. Some ships backed away. Others remained, weapons shaking, unsure. Captain Reyes watched the chaos unfold and understood one truth. This was no longer about survival. This was about change. And the smallest alien in the universe had just forced the galaxy to face itself. The space around the station grew quiet, but it was not peace. It was confusion. Ships drifted out of formation, weapons still warm, crews unsure of what to do next. Inside the station, alarms slowly faded. Red lights turned back to white. Breathing became easier, but fear did not leave. Captain Reyes knew this moment was fragile. One wrong move could bring destruction. But silence also carried power. In the medical bay, Dr. Lin worked carefully. The tiny alien lay still in her hands, glowing faintly. Its small body was cold, weaker than ever before. She checked its signs again and again. "It gave too much," she whispered. It pushed itself beyond its limits. The crew gathered quietly. Some stood with arms crossed. Others sat on the floor, exhausted. All of them watched the tiny alien like it was something precious. No one spoke. They all felt it. This small life had stood between two forces far greater than itself, and it had not asked for anything in return. Outside, a new signal came through, not from the main fleet, but from a ship that had powered down earlier. Its voice was uncertain, softer than before. "We felt it," the alien captain said. "The pain, the loss, the truth." Captain Reyes answered slowly. "Then you understand why we won't give it up." There was a long pause. Then the alien replied, "Yes." That single word carried more weight than any weapon. The main fleet commander cut in angrily. "This weakness will destroy order," he shouted. "Fear keeps the galaxy stable." Captain Reyes shook his head. Fear keeps it broken, he said. In the medical bay, the tiny alien stirred again. Its eyes opened, dim but aware, sensed the change. Dr. Lin smiled through tears. You did it, she said softly. You showed them. The tiny alien lifted its hand, trembling. It did not send another wave. Instead, it reached out gently. Across open channels, something strange happened. Alien crews began speaking openly, sharing doubts they had never voiced, fears they had buried for generations. The galaxy had been quiet for too long. The main fleet began to fall apart. Ships turned away. Some shut down weapons completely. Others followed, slowly. Only the commander's ship remained hostile, isolated now, surrounded by doubt instead of loyalty. This changes nothing, the commander said, but his voice no longer sounded sure. Captain Reyes replied calmly, It already has. The commander fired one last shot toward empty space, a final act of anger. Then his ship jumped away, fleeing into the dark. The threat was gone. Inside the station, no one cheered, no one celebrated. They simply stood together, letting the moment settle. The tiny alien was moved into a warmer chamber, designed just for it. Soft lights, gentle sounds, no fear. Humans took turns watching over it, talking quietly, sharing stories it could not fully understand but could feel. Over the next hours, messages arrived from across known space. Questions, apologies, confusion, and something new, curiosity. Species that had never questioned old rules were now asking why. Why some lives mattered more than others. Why size meant worth. Humans answered simply, because it's right. Captain Reyes looked out at the stars. He knew this was not the end, but it was a beginning. The tiny alien slept peacefully now. For the first time since it escaped, it was not alone. And somewhere deep in the galaxy, fear had cracked, and kindness had slipped through. News travels fast in space, even without sound. What happened at Orion Gate did not stay secret for long. Stories spread from ship to ship, station to station, world to world. A tiny alien, protected by humans, standing against fear. At first, many did not believe it. They said it was a lie, a human trick. But then recordings appeared. Not weapons, not battle footage, but emotions. Alien crews watched and felt something strange in their chests. Sadness, regret, questions they had never allowed themselves to ask. Across the galaxy, commanders paused their orders. Scientists reviewed old data. Leaders sat in silence longer than usual. Something had shifted. On the human station, the tiny alien slowly recovered. Its glow grew warmer, steadier, could stand longer now, walk a little farther each day. Humans built small tools for it, soft paths to move safely, gentle screens that responded to touch. No cages, no locks. The tiny alien watched humans closely, the way they argued, then laughed, the way they protected each other without command. It felt safe among them. One day, a human supply ship arrived unexpectedly, carried no weapons, only visitors. Alien envoys from different species stepped onto the station. Nervous, curious, unsure, they asked to see the tiny alien. Captain Reyes agreed, but only under one rule: respect. The tiny alien stood in the center of the room, small and quiet, yet no one dared speak loudly. When it looked at the visitors, emotions spread gently. Not pain this time, but understanding. Some envoys lowered their heads. Others stepped back, overwhelmed. One began to cry, not knowing why. We did not know, one said softly. We were taught they were nothing. Captain Reyes answered calmly. So were we once. The words stayed with them. Soon after, the first change came. A major trade alliance announced a new rule. No species could be owned, studied, or controlled by force. It was not perfect, but it was a start. Other groups followed, slowly, carefully. Fear still existed, but it no longer ruled alone. The tiny alien sensed this shift. It began sending weaker, softer emotional waves, not to shock, but to guide. These waves did not hurt. They reminded. They helped beings feel what they had buried. Some resisted. Others welcomed it. On the station, Dr. Lin watched the alien closely. "You are changing everything," she said with a small smile. The tiny alien tilted its head. It did not understand everything, but it understood care. One evening, Captain Reyes found the tiny alien sitting near the station window, watching distant stars. He sat nearby, careful not to disturb it. "You could leave," he said quietly. "We would help you find a safe world." The tiny alien looked at him, then gently placed its hand on the glass. On the human side, it chose them. Outside the station, a new council formed, not led by power, but by voices willing to listen. Humans were invited, not as rulers, but as witnesses, witnesses to a truth the galaxy had ignored. The smallest voice can change the largest room. As stars drifted slowly past Orion Gate, the tiny alien rested among humans, no longer hunted, no longer alone, and the galaxy, still broken, had finally begun to heal. The galaxy did not change in one day. Old fear does not disappear easily. But after Orion Gate, it could no longer hide. Meetings began across space. Not secret meetings, not military councils, but open talks. For the first time, many species spoke without weapons nearby. They spoke about guilt, about control, about lies they had accepted for too long. At the center of these talks was one truth. A tiny alien had forced the galaxy to look at itself. A new council was formed. It was slow and careful. Every word argued. Every rule questioned. Humans were invited again. Some leaders did not like that. They said humans were emotional, unstable, dangerous. Captain Reyes listened quietly, then spoke simply. "Yes." The room went silent. "Yes, we are emotional," he continued. "That is why we noticed suffering when others ignored it." The tiny alien was not present at the council, but its presence was felt everywhere. Rules were proposed, then changed, then argued again. No species could be owned. No species could be tested without consent. No species could be hunted for what they were born with. Some leaders resisted. They said the galaxy needed control, order, obedience. Dr. Lin stood beside the humans. She held up data, not numbers, but emotional records. "This species does not control minds," she said. "They reflect truth." Slowly, votes were cast. Not all in favor, but enough. A new law was born. The smallest species in the galaxy was now protected. On the station, the tiny alien sensed the shift. Felt less fear moving through space, less pain, less hunger for control. Its glow became steady and warm, no longer flickering with stress. Humans built something new. Not a weapon, not a prison, a sanctuary. Small worlds designed for fragile beings. Gentle gravity, soft light, open skies. The tiny alien visited one of these places. It stood quietly, feeling grass-like ground beneath its feet. It was free, but freedom came with a question. The new council feared the power of emotion. They asked humans for help. "If this species is harmed again," one leader said, "we may not survive the consequences." Captain Reyes understood what they were asking. Protection, responsibility. Humans debated among themselves. They were explorers, builders, not rulers, but they had already chosen their path at Orion Gate. Humans agreed to stand guard, not above others, but in front of the weak. The galaxy reacted strongly. Some felt relief, others fear. Whispers spread. If humans protect the small, what happens when humans get angry? The answer came soon. A distant faction attempted to capture another tiny alien, testing the new law, testing humans. Human ships arrived, not shouting, not firing. They simply stood in the way. The attempt failed without bloodshed. The message was clear. Humans would not look away again. The tiny alien felt this choice. It understood in its own way that humans had tied their future to its kind. It approached Captain Reyes one quiet cycle, placed its hand on his chest. Gratitude flowed softly. No pain, no fear, only trust. The captain closed his eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of what humans had become. Not conquerors, not saviors, guardians, and the galaxy watched closely, knowing the final chapter had not yet been written. Time passed quietly after the new laws were accepted. The galaxy did not become perfect, but it became more careful, more aware. At Orion Gate, life slowly returned to calm. Ships came and went. Messages arrived daily, not of threats but of thanks. The tiny alien lived peacefully among humans now. It no longer hid when doors opened. It no longer shook at loud voices. Its glow was steady, soft, and warm, like a small star that had finally found a safe sky. Humans built a special place for it inside the station. Not a cage, not a lab, a home. Soft paths allowed it to move freely. Small windows showed the stars. Gentle sounds filled the space. Nothing rushed, nothing demanded. The tiny alien spent time with many humans. Engineers showed it how machines worked. Pilots let it sit beside them during short flights. Doctors simply sat with it in silence. It learned humans did not always need words, and humans learned the same from it. One day, a message arrived from the new council, a request, not an order. They wanted the tiny alien to be seen, not as a symbol, but as a person. After careful thought, Captain Reyes agreed. Only if the tiny alien chose to go. The decision was left to it. When the moment came, the tiny alien walked to the viewing window. It looked out at the stars for a long time, then turned back and nodded. The council chamber was quiet when it arrived. No guards moved. No leaders spoke loudly. The tiny alien stood on a small platform made just for it, so it would not feel small. When it reached out, it did not send pain. It sent warmth. Across the chamber, beings felt calm. They felt memories of kindness they had forgotten. Moments when they could have chosen better. Some wept, some smiled, some simply bowed their heads. The tiny alien did not speak. It did not need to. His presence was enough. Captain Reyes spoke at last. This being did not ask to change the galaxy, he said. It only asked to live. The council made one final decision that day, a promise written into galactic history. No life would ever again be called too small to matter. When the tiny alien returned to Orion Gate, something felt different. Not fear, not danger, belonging. It chose to stay with humans, even though safe worlds were offered, even though its future was secure. Humans were its family now. Years later, stories spread among the stars about human ships arriving not to conquer, but to stand in the way of cruelty. About a tiny glowing being seen beside them, a reminder, a warning, promise. Children across many species grew up hearing that story. Not about war, but about courage. Not about power, but about care. On a quiet night, Captain Reyes stood once more at the station window. The tiny alien rested nearby, glowing softly. Funny, he said gently. The galaxy feared you. The tiny alien looked up at him and shared a feeling so simple it needed no name. Trust. Beyond the window, stars drifted endlessly, but something had changed forever among them. The smallest life had taught the greatest lesson, that true strength is not found in size, or weapons, or control. It is found in the choice to protect those who cannot protect themselves. And the galaxy would remember that, as long as humans stood watch,